excited to get our first SEC game coming up Saturday. Ole Miss has a really good team, a lot of speed, a lot of explosiveness, both sides of the ball. They do so much defensively. They're simple but complicated, if that makes sense. And the line movements that they do, they're not a heavy bring two blitz team, but they are one, and they come from corner, from safety, from Mike Backer, from Willie. A lot of different movements there that we have to be ready for, and they've got some big guys and talented guys doing the movement. Offensively, certainly have to be prepared for two different type of offenses, whether Simmons is healthy or whether he's not. They proved when they brought in their second-team quarterback that they could move the football in their what I call wildcat, but in their which he can really throw the ball. That he didn't have to last week, certainly because of the situation in the game. But when they do that, it's certainly different than it was last year because they had the big man running majority of that last year. Really good offensive line, a lot of speed on the outside, and certainly well coached. So we have a lot of respect. We're looking forward to going over there, looking forward to be a night game, national TV game. We just have to have a really good week of practice, which we have had the first 2 weeks, and we'll continue to do that this week as well.
Does that make it difficult on you guys not knowing Simmons' availability and having to prepare, I guess, for the two quarterbacks now?
I think it always does, adds a little bit to it. However, their offense is their offense. Both of them are very talented, running the football as well as throwing it. So you're still going to have contain and have somebody, we elect to spy him or whatever it may be. You're still going to have somebody responsible for him. Yes, it would be more difficult if we didn't know and they played the entire game with number 6 instead of Simmons or whatever. But we'll be prepared, and we have to prepare for both of those type offenses anyway. So we're going to use a lot of that today, getting ready for the Wildcat type situation that they run.
Given how last year's game went here in Fayetteville, then putting up 63, still throwing the ball late in the game, and then 3 of the players on your roster now on their roster, is this a circle the calendar kind of game? And do you play into that with your team in terms of like just what happened last year and everything else?
Yeah, I think there's always, so you prepare your team. If your team, we have a good enough team, and we do, and if we play well, we can play with anybody on our schedule. And I may be the only guy that believes that, but I believe it with all. Well, no, I'm not. I got 115 that believe that as well. But, Trey, there's got to be – each game has different motivational factors behind it. They all do. Last week was for the state. It was a state championship to some aspect of a state championship game. So you find different things that have extra motivation. We should have enough to motivate ourselves, but something. And so certainly the way we got beat last year in that game, it has to have some motivation. The problem with that is a bunch of our kids that are playing on our team weren't here for it. Now, it should motivate the guys that were embarrassed because it was an embarrassing night. Certainly there are things there that we'll talk about after. We certainly need a great week of practice to prepare ourselves, but that may be part of the motivation.
Does that message extend to the coaching staff as well? I mean, you guys, the coaches were here last year. I mean, is that something you'll bring up with the coaches?
Yeah, it's already been extended. It was extended last night. And we have to do a better job. a lot of their points last year came on big play bombs, and it was bam, 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 bam. And, of course, Jackson Dart was on point, and they protected well. But a lot of them were explosive plays, just boom, boom, boom. And, it's hard to come back from that if they're scoring so fast.
One more question for me about last year's game. I think afterwards you kind of hinted there might be some concern about tipping plays, and I think when you spoke with us the next week, you said you did the research. I mean, how much of that has been a thought when thinking about this game in the off season?
Yeah, all off season with that. We certainly had a conversation again last night about that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I mean, if someone's telling me what they're doing offensively every play and I know it, then I'm probably going to use it. I don't look at that as anything, and I'm not saying they did or anything like that. I'm just saying that we're the only ones should know what we're running, unless they have some tendency on us. We're the only one that should know what we're running, and whether we're playing Ole Miss or whomever.
I wonder if you could give us some injury updates. Any chance for Okie this week? And then Monte Harrison, we saw him on crutches. What's the latest with him?
Yeah, Okie, he's going to run today, and we'll see if he can. Guys, if you don't practice, you're not going to play very good. I mean, that's just how it is. So I don't know that he'll practice today. If he can get in and practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then we'll take him and we'll play him. Let's look back. It's amazing. It doesn't really matter how good you are. If you don't practice, you're not going to play very good. Now, there may be an instance here and there, but there's a million instances where that's true. Take Xavier Sorey, for example. Didn't practice much before we played Alabama A&M. 1 tackle. Practiced the entire week, 15 tackles, half a sack, interception, much different deal. So we've got guys that if Okie's not ready to go, we got guys we feel like would play better. So it just depends. He needs to practice at least 3 days this week. He will not today, so we'll see. Did you ask somebody? Monte's he's hurt. He broke his foot, and so he's going to decide whether he wants to have that surgery or not. But he's going to be out for a while, if not for the season.
And I'm sorry to tap Lee on, but while we're doing it, if we can knock it out, Philip Lee.
Philip should be fine.
Your secondary is basically overhauled since last year's game. How better prepared do you think you might be for that kind of attack versus where you were last year?
Well, hopefully we're better. It's hard to tell. We certainly feel like we are, but we haven't been tested like we're going to get tested Saturday. So we'll find out more about us. But we're very confident going in. But we'll find out more where we are, how much man coverage we can play against them. They've got a tremendous amount of speed. Their quarterback's accurate, good player. He worries me about his scramble ability as well, but you didn't ask about that. But I think secondary-wise, as you stated, I mean, it was embarrassing for us last year, not only the kids but the coaches, everybody. And so we do think we can do a better job this year than we did last year, and we just got to have a good week of practice. But we have confidence in our guys.
Lane's had a documentary, I think, done on him, and he seems to be maturing into the situation there. You think it's good having him in the league, and just what do you think about him and his style, maybe?
Yeah, yes, I think it's good having him in the league. He's a lot of people don't know him like I do. He's a good person. He's a good man. He just wants to win games, and that's what he's hired to do. But I think he brings something to the league. You're always talking about Ole Miss, and SEC is attached to that. So, yeah, I think he's really good for the league.
I have a special teams question for you. I know after the game you talked about, needing to tackle the guy on the return, but after looking at the film of that, was there anything else you kind of noticed, or is it straight up just a tackle?
We just lost contain, and we missed 2 tackles in there. Whether that be personnel-wise, what we need to do, or we just need to do a better job of coaching. Once he broke, he's got a lot of speed, and we didn't have anybody on the field that could catch him. It was a really good play by him. I mean, he did some really good things there. It is concerning they were going to go to the field, and he broke it back to the boundary. If we have enough speed on the field, if we have enough defensive players on the field that are used to tackling, I think those are some of the things that brought up after the return.
We talked a lot in the preseason about just how much bigger the guys in your secondary are. I know it's early, but how have you kind of seen that? How have you seen the benefits from just the size difference from last year to this year?
Well, I think the size matters because we are tackling better. I think a lot of times when you want to tackle a guy, you have a chance to tackle him a little bit more than, man, he's really big and I'm not, type situation. So they have a lot of confidence back there. I do too. With you having corners that are 6'2" and big and 200-some pounds. Just makes a difference to me. And I'm not saying any small guy can't play. I'm not saying that, but because we've proven that they can. But having SEC size over there gives us a little bit more of an advantage, and I feel like we're doing I think Kanai's playing really well.
Did Devin Bale get hurt on Saturday as well? I noticed he wasn't holding for the PATs or anything.
Yeah, he did. But he's going to be fine. He'll practice today. But let's look at that. The man kicks a 62-yard punt. There's a good and a bad in this now. He kicks a 62-yard punt, and the good is we netted 53, and he made the tackle. Now, that's incredible. I mean, it just is. It's sort of like the no play of the week. That's incredible. You don't kick it 62 yards and you make – I did it in high school, but, I mean, I ain't seen that since then. And now, the bad thing is punter shouldn't be making the tackle, so we've got to do a better job of getting down there. But he's fine, and he'll be good. It's amazing how valuable he is to our team because, as you just spoke about, he kicking off. So you lose one guy. You lose your kickoff guy, your punt guy, and your holder. One guy. So he's got unbelievable amount of value, and he does every one of them well.
And Trey asked you earlier about the motivations. I'm curious specifically. I mean, Patrick Kudus is a guy that you told you last year that he was going to be a Hog and going to be back, and now you're going against him. I mean, is there any added motivation for you personally with something like that?
No, not at all. I think 3 guys went over there, and unfortunately a couple of them's been hurt, but no, not at all. I mean, hell, I've changed my mind a time or two in my life too, and not at all. He's starting for him at right guard, doing a good job, and no, not at all.
A lot of Ole Miss's success in the offensive game so far this season's come on the ground, especially through Quan Lacey. Just what have you seen from him, and just how do you kind of prepare for a guy like that?
Well, I think them and us have the same identical yards rushing. I think they're at 257.5. I think we are too. So, they do it a little bit like we do too. Different guys getting different carries, but you got to hem him in, and you can't let him out. Say he's got a lot of speed. You got to make sure that you don't lose contain and turn him back inside and see if you can get him on the ground. But he's a really good player for him and got a lot of speed and tough, and so we'll have some kind of schematics to try to slow him down.
I guess you mentioned not being tested in the secondary to the level that you're going to so far this year, but maybe also up front on the defensive side, can you take anything from last week and translate it into this week, or is it maybe a different challenge and a different level that you faced up front?
Well, it certainly is different. I mean, hell, I'd like to take it all. I'd like to have 10 negatives and 4 sacks, and, yeah, I'd like to take every bit of it and add to it. But schematically, with their RPO game off of that, I mean, schematically, they're tough. I mean, because, a lot of times, we was talking about it last night, a lot of times the O-line's pulling and doing all that, and they're throwing the football. You have to be ready in the back end and in the front end for every single play. It's not just a run; it's a run or. And we're going to have to play with high intensity and a lot of effort because they are talented up front and they're talented at their skill positions. So, yeah, I'd like to take – we did improve quite a bit, and we've got to improve again Saturday.
Sam, when you play these first two games like you guys have, you've completely dominated. There's not a moment of adversity. What are some of the things you do to create adversity through camp or in practice this week, or even what makes you confident that your team will handle it this week?
Well, we've got a good team is what, I'm confident in our football team. And a lot of it is because of the leadership. And, I don't know how you create adversity unless you just practice hard, and keep accountability and toughness and all those things. So, we haven't had a lot of adversity yet. If you look at it, we talked about the first drive against A&M. That was, really it. And then, we gave up 7, or they earned 7 on us the other day. We gave them some penalties, I think it's just all about the mindset and playing hard and playing together. And when adversity hits, then your leadership takes over, whether it be me, whether it be the team. You want it to be the team. And I think we really have an older team that understands and believes we can win. But we'll see. If all hell breaks loose, we'll see what we really have, and we haven't been tested that way yet. You're right.
Coach Petrino posted a picture of Talon with the hurdle and was comparing it to Lamar Jackson. In the last 48 hours, has he made a comment of maybe how special Talon is, or how special he feels he can be, or even throughout the summer?
Not any that I can. I mean, I think we both think that he's really good, I think you need your best players to inspire the rest. And I think things like that do. And I think obviously Bobby liked it or he wouldn't have posted it, But maybe that was some kind of conversation Bobby had with him during the week as well, But, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that.
Just a thought on winning on the road. What makes it so difficult in this conference?
Noise. Crowd noise is the first thing. I mean, you have to be confident that you can handle the crowd noise, and then now they're allowing D linemen to yell stuff and move, and I don't know where we went with that or why, but you can do that on the road now. And so really it's not the travel. Hell, we just traveled, to Little Rock and scored a lot of points. It's not really the travel. It'll be a first time to fly, but it's more of handling the crowd. And we've got to do a really good job this week of the crowd noise and getting that handled. And then once you get the confidence in there, then it becomes a game.
I know Lane is Lane, and there's a lot of continuity in his offense year to year, but is there anything on film you've seen that's maybe different with Austin Simmons at quarterback than when he had Jackson Dart?
Not a lot. I mean, they've always been, you better stop the run, and that's what they're running similar plays that they've ran in the past. No, they're going deep on it, and they're still running their RPOs. I haven't noticed a lot of difference than what he's done in the past. It's worked for him, so I'm assuming that's why he's staying the same.
You've already touched on, the 3 transfers, not a lot of motivation for you. But I'm just curious, in this age of the transfer portal, as a head coach, not only just those 3 guys, if someone comes to you and tells you they want to transfer, like, does that hurt? Like,
Yeah.
What are the emotions like when that first kind of happens?
Depends on who it is. That's the truth. Depends on who it is, but I'm kind of out of that now, and that was really what bothered me the most. Is I understood it, but it bothered me, and most of them were financially driven, and I understand that. I didn't say I liked it, but at the same time, who are our top wideouts? Who are they? Well, they're most of them are CJ, but most of them, the other ones are transfer. And who's some of our top linemen? Well, you got Kobe and Emarion, and the rest of them all transfers. So the problem is when they transfer out, you don't know that you're going to go get Corey Robinson. You don't know that. You don't know you're going to go get Junior Carmona. You don't know that, so it becomes a difficult time during that time as well. And if you have a whole bunch of them, which we have had, but I don't think it'll be near like that in the future, because we, revenue sharing kind of evens the game a little bit.
Caleb Wooden's a guy who didn't start week 1. You said he earned more playing time, started Saturday. So what did you see from him? How much did you see him kind of build his case to stay there?
Yeah, I mean, he's earned his right to stay out there, and I thought him and Miguel both played pretty good, Saturday. So that's a good problem to have. But I thought he played like he did the week before, played hard, played smart, runs to the ball. So that only helps us there with he and Miguel both being able to play.
Up what you said about how much movement Ole Miss has on the line of scrimmage, just how much are you simulating that in practice, and how?
Well, we're going to. I mean, we haven't practiced yet, but we certainly will. And I don't know, if we can simulate Harris. I mean, he plays inside, 3-tech, nose, and plays them all really well. But him and the rest of them, he's really stood out. 51. I mean, he's really a good player. But we'll do it. There is a little bit of back-to-back weeks where Arkansas State schematically it has some similarities with what Ole Miss doing. So that helps us a little bit as well.
That was going to be my question, actually, because I know that A-State defensive coordinator comes from under Golding at Ole Miss. But you faced a team that really blitzed you a lot in week 1. And then last week, really barely any. And then I was watching Ole Miss Kentucky, same thing. They didn't blitz a whole lot. What are the challenges, I guess, what are the benefits for facing those two types of defenses first, and then the challenges with a team that plays a lot of coverage?
I think if someone doesn't blitz a tremendous amount, what are they telling you? They're either telling you, I really like my back end, or I really like my front four, and I would say both for Ole Miss. I mean, they're good in the back end, and they're really good on the D line. They have been for a while now. So I think with the first 2 games, even though we're not having the competition that we're getting ready to have Saturday, I think it's been good for us. Our backs, were better this week. Again, we didn't get blitzed quite like certainly not close to what we did the first week, but they were on the blitzes, and just that preparing us for that, I think, through both games has helped us for the future of our schedule. But we'll see a lot of similarities with what we saw against Arkansas State, just bigger and faster guys,
Is that difficult with Ole Miss has played a game that went into the fourth quarter, and you guys haven't yet? Is that a benefit? Obviously, a benefit for them.
Well, I think there's, obviously there's a concern that they've already played an SEC game and we haven't, but you play who's on your schedule, and you try to play well, no matter who it is. And we were ready Saturday, which I'm sure there was some thoughts of, well, it's A-State, and maybe Arkansas is not going to respect them, not going to come out. We did. So it tells a lot about our team. So our team will know the difference then, that we're starting SEC play and the importance of the game and all that. So we'll be ready to go.
How did you feel overall about the defensive line play on Saturday?
Well, we're much more productive than what we had been before. The only real plays that were concerning was the quarterback scrambling. So we've got to have somebody responsible, certainly for Simmons on Saturday. But other than that, I thought, I think Quincy Rhodes is getting better and better each week. He's getting more confident in there. Phillip Lee's doing the same thing. We certainly have to have more production on the inside with our guys in there, and hopefully we'll get that done as well.
Also, it looks like the NCAA may go to just one transfer portal in January, and I know that's something that you've talked about for a while. What are the advantages and disadvantages if it simply goes to one portal window being open, especially that time of year?
As a coach?
As a coach or even as a player.
It's been a long time since I played. As a coach, there are no disadvantages to me, none. I mean, you go give your wife 2 or 3 opportunities a year to leave you. I mean, come on. I've been gone a long time ago. With no ramifications, bye, But not for me. I'm sold. Look, we've got a bowl problem, right? So if they put it back to January, hopefully we don't have 50 guys playing on your team when you play the bowl, We're already down to starting with 105, so, I think that will help that as well. And I just, for the life of me, cannot ever understand how we can have spring ball, and after spring ball, the portal opens. That just makes no sense to me. Why would you have spring ball if you're going to lose 10 guys off your team? It's just makes no sense. So if they would go to one, I think it's good for the kids. They have an opportunity to transfer if they want to. They have an opportunity to get in school. I mean, we nobody's talking about it. You got a guy his 3rd year of playing, and he transfers, and he loses 18, 20 hours in the transfer. I mean, when are we going to figure out about graduation? Well, 4 or 5 years down the road, I guarantee the graduation rate will go down in every college. It will, because you can't transfer and lose 18 hours and graduate on the same pace that if you kept them. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to be thinking of there, but I hope that it goes to January. It'll keep the bowls. Then it'll give you some time to talk to the kids and visit with them, let Remy and all that before somebody grabs a hold of them. And hopefully we'll be on top of that as well.
There's speculation that Ole Miss could wind up as one of your 3 permanents. And I'm wondering, given the nature of the rivalry, you've been in 2 overtime games over there, or 2 games that were decided by 2-point conversion. Is it a fun rivalry for you, and what would you think of having them maybe as permanent if that came about?
I think in rivalries you look at, fan base, who, the care of the game, and certainly in the past, LSU's been one of those games for our for our state. Missouri is certainly close, So Ole Miss is we've had good games beside last year. I mean, we've had really good games for 4 of the 5. We were 2-2 going into last year, and with our losses being I think 3 and overtime, over there. So it's been very competitive, and I think that's what everybody's looking for in rivalries, and the closeness where we can travel there and they can travel here. So I do want to say this, though, that the atmosphere in Little Rock was electric. It was a lot of fun. And I know that there's been things written about this, and here's my stance. Whatever the governor and the athletic directors from both schools and all that, I'm all for it. What I want that to be very, very clear. I'm all for it. There's pros and cons over here and over here and over here, but if it makes the University of Arkansas and our fans happy, whatever that may be, as the head coach at Arkansas, I'm all for it.
All right, and my last question is basically the state of your run game. Are you pretty pleased with where you are and the split of the carries between Washington, with Russell, and so forth?
Yeah. Well, you know, do I wish we'd have seen more out of Mike and Braylon? We've seen what we need to see out of them. They're healthy. But I don't think we're going to go into SEC play and think we can get, 14 carries between the two of them, but that's all we've needed, I mean, we're scoring. I think the first half we had the ball 11 minutes, the other day, and 35 points. I mean, we're scoring so fast that, who's doing it is really not, because there's a bunch of people. And so if we can keep that, that'd be great. But I think those two backs are good. I think they're going to have to take the brunt of Blunt and Rodney as well. But I think their carries will probably go up in SEC play. We'll see. If we keep scoring points, I don't care who carries it nor who we throw it to or anything else. We've been doing a pretty good job of that. And then, of course, Talon, he took up 151 of those yards with 9 carries as well. So Russian's Russian.